A very good evening, everyone. Welcome back to InfiniteLoop 3.0, the third edition of our workshop series brought to you by the IEEE student branch of UCSC. I'm Disuri and I'll be your moderator tonight. We're so excited to have you join us for today's session, Introduction to Generative AI, one of the most groundbreaking and talked about areas in modern tech. Before we dive in, just a few quick reminders. Please rename yourself on Zoom using the same name you used when registering. This helps us track attendance correctly. If you have any questions during the session, don't hesitate to reach out via the Zoom chat. We'll be keeping an eye on it throughout. And stay sharp, we'll have a fun quiz at the end based on today's content. The winner will receive $5 in OpenAI credits. Now let's officially kick things off. We're happy to have with us Athsara Fernando, a passionate AI enthusiast known for turning complex tech concepts into simple, engaging insights. He's here today to help us explore the exciting world of generative AI, how it works, why it's so powerful, and what lies ahead. Athsara, the screen is yours.
Just give me a minute. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Hope I am audible, right? Am I audible, guys?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for IEEE Student Branch Organizing Committee for inviting me this. So today our topic is generative AI, which is the hottest topic in the world right now. So today my purpose is to make some entry points for you guys and give a high-level idea about generative AI. So you guys can go further and do your research and do further education on this field. So before we go to the details, I just need to do a quick survey to find out your what you guys are like, what your level is. So I'll just share a link, survey link. Quickly join to that, and there's a couple of questions you can vote in that. Okay. All right, so we'll see. I think this can register only up to 50 students. Okay, I'll go to the next one. Guys, you guys have to select the option and press the send button, otherwise it's not sending. Okay. Okay, so seems like majority of the people are beginners. Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next one. All right, so I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. Actually, I suggest you guys to use these AI tools as much as possible, because the amount of work that you can deliver with the help of AI tools is like 10x compared to what you can do alone. So that will be a very good skill that you would have when you go to the industry. So I just want to give a quick suggestion: try to use these tools as much as possible. So I think you guys can see my screen, right? Okay. So I'll go a quick walk through what I'm about to do today. So first, let's talk about what is AI, and then let's talk about few models that we have in the current AI world, and let's talk about limitations and a little bit about prompt engineering, and also in the end, I will do a practical implementation of a small RAG system. And in the end, there will be a quiz, and uh, the winner will get $5 worth of APIs from Open API credits from OpenAI. So pay attention to what I'm teaching. The quiz will be based on what I'll be teaching today. So okay. So yeah, first let's talk about um, we have artificial intelligence, but before artificial intelligence, let's talk about what is intelligence, right? So intelligence is being able to, as a human being or as a species, being able to identify a problem, being able to come up with a solution and solve that problem. That's what the intelligence is, right? So what is artificial intelligence? So I will give you a quick example. I'll show you how these things work. Uh, so so let me tell you how intelligence works. Uh, so in our brain, we have these things called neurons, and there are actually billions of neurons interconnected to each other. Those set of neurons, we call it a neural network, a natural neural network. So in artificial intelligence, what we were able to do is that we could recreate the same structure, but in the digital world. So we have let's get something like this. So what we were able to do is recreate the same thing, but in a digital form, like a digital structure. So I'll just explain uh, like what these entities are. So if I tell you, in our brain, we call this a neuron, right? We know these things. And in these neurons, there is a connection, and we call this a synapses, or we can call it a synaptic connection. So what we did was we recreated that in digital world, and these are the things which are like equivalent to neurons, and these things we call it nodes. Call these nodes, and these connections are equivalent to these synapses or synaptic connections. We call these connections either synapses, or we can call this as parameters. So this word parameter is actually very often heard word in the AI industry, because so basically what a parameter is, the number of connections we have in between these nodes is parameters. So if I tell, like, parameter is one of the very basic factor that determines how smart an AI model is. So more the parameters it have, it's more smarter. Like, that's not the only factor, but that plays a pivotal role in determining the intelligence of an AI model. So if I tell you, for example, uh, you guys remember GPT-3 model. This was the model released by ChatGPT as the first version in 2022. This is the model which impressed the whole world. Everyone was talking about AI after releasing of this model, and this model, by the time this model was released, it had 175 billion parameters. But now, after the updates, we have like models like GPT-4, GPT 4.1, and GPT 4.4 model has 1 trillion parameters. So the model that we currently have is significantly smarter than the model that they released in 2022. So this plays a pivotal role in determining the intelligence. So I just told you because interesting facts. So basically we're talking about artificial intelligence. We literally, what we did was we created the entire structure we had in brain in a digital world. So that's basically artificial intelligence. You just put artificial inside intelligence. We did the same thing. What's happening inside the brain, we could recreate that in lines of codes. So artificial intelligence is the same thing, but a computer being able to identify, learn, and build algorithms and solve problems like a human intelligence. That's what the artificial intelligence is. So now let's talk about generative AI. Actually, uh, AI became very popular like in the last 3 years due to generative AI. Actually, the companies like Amazon was using these AI algorithms since like 2010, but nobody was, like, non-technical people was not talking about AI. But after the release of ChatGPT is a generative AI model. It became very popular uh, among everybody in the world. Now, even like wherever you go, there is a person who talks about AI. Even a non-technical person, everybody's talking about ChatGPT or whatever, due to the release of this generative AI model. So, what is generative AI? So, generative AI means it's a artificial intelligence. It's a type of artificial intelligence that can generate new and original content based on rules, examples, or training data. So that's the important thing, that generative AI means they have the ability to create new content. It could be either text, it could be images, it could be voices, it could be anything. Just have the ability to generate new things, just like a human being. So that's what the generative AI is. Yes, now let's go to the types of AI. So based on how AI will be utilized, we can simply divide this AI into 3 categories. Actually, so first we have diagnostic AI. Diagnostic AI means um, that's the area which we cover what AI models what the AI models do is they try to identify and monitor things in uh, whatever those models. So, for example, if there is a software like we need to identify anomalies, what's happening in that. For those kind of things, we have to use AI models, and those area is what we call diagnostic AI. And then we have decision AI. We use decision AI to predict and decide. So I think you guys have heard about, like, there are machine learning competitions. So like what you have to do is you are given a data set, you have to process those data and come up with the prediction. So for those kind of things, we use AI models. That area is what we call decision AI. And then we have the generative AI to generate and self-learn. We talked about this already. So let's go to the well, there's a little bit about some models. Actually, you guys don't have to keep these things, remember, but I'll just tell you this is like the basic of like LLMs. So I know this is like a little bit boring stuff, but I'll just give a quick walk through what these models are. So in like these ChatGPT like models, there are like layers of models. So first model is foundational model. So you can see here these models are designed to learn the fundamental principles of language, such as relationships between words and phrases. So that means these foundational models, models are the models which even like, that doesn't even know the language. That's the model that even learns how the language works. So that's like the most base model. And then we have LLMs, large language models. These models are the like famous ones what you use in ChatGPT, like GPT-3, 3.5, or these models are LLMs. So these like what a LLM is a type of AI model that can generate text, translate language, write creative content, and answer our questions. So you guys know these things like just like ChatGPT. Inside the like they have models. Those are the LLMs, and we have another model called pre-trained large language models. Actually, pre-trained large LLM means it's like a state of LLMs. So a model that has been trained on a large data set of data, but not yet has been fine-tuned. Like so, these are the like three layers of language models that we have. Just it's better to have a like a overview, like a high-level idea how these things work. So I'll now go to what is a LLM. So LLM, here you can see this is like you don't have to worry about these diagrams. I'll just tell you an LLM is a computer program that has fed enough examples to be able to recognize, interpret human language or other types of complex data. So basically LLM is like a human baby actually. So what it does is we need to feed data and train on it. Then it will learn how to give certain output as how we want. So that's basically it's like like a little human baby. Uh, and as you can see here, the quality of samples of the output of the quality the quality of the output this LLM produce uh, depends on few factors. I mentioned about parameters before. So actually there are few factors. Number one, we could say the data, the amount of data. So like how many, like what size of data we have trained this model on, that is a one factor. And second factor, we could say the quality of that data. Like if those data is high quality, the output that we can get is higher. And then the third factor is number of parameters. How many parameters this model have. More the parameters mean more intelligent and the better output that we can get from that LLM model. So actually, there's a interesting argument. I saw AI researcher was talking about. There are about 60 zettabytes of text-based data on the internet. On the whole planet Earth, we have only text like 60 zettabytes of text-based data. So that's the maximum amount of data that we can train an LLM is, right? But the thing is, a human baby would gather 60 zettabytes of data within 4 years because we not only have text inputs, we can see things like we have visual inputs and audio inputs as humans, and we can gather 60 zettabytes of data within within 4 years. So there's an interesting argument that the AI researcher said that text-based LLMs will never be smart as much as a human because that can never be trained on more than that amount of data. So I'm not saying I'm agreeing with that, but it's an interesting point. Just wanted to let you guys know. Again, I told you there are now the size of data is not only the factor which determines how smart AI model is. There are other factors like parameters and everything. So yeah, now let's talk a little bit about the limitations of AI, limitations of LLMs. So first one you can see not updated to the latest information. I mean, if you guys were using ChatGPT like 1 year ago, and you ask ChatGPT when is today, it gives you a date like 2023 July this date or that date. It gives a very old date because now they have fixed it, because not because they haven't fixed the LLMs. Now they use features like web search feature. It scrape the data from internet and give you the updated data. But if you ask directly from LLM like any latest information, it doesn't have the ability to give, because it's not trained on those data yet. So that's a one weakness or one limitation we could say an LLM has. And then we have hallucinations. Hallucination means that these AI models, they come up with a fake or like made up answers. Those are not correct. He thinks those things are correct. Uh, that could be very misleading, and that's a limitation. Actually, in AI development, there's a we have a variable called temperature, so we can control how creative these LLMs are going to be. Like it's like we have a range from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1 or 0 to 2. Like the variable number being closer to 0 means it's being very less creative but more accurate. But if we increase that number, like we give like 1, that means it becomes very creative, but also it could hallucinate a lot and give like made up things which are not true, and that's another limitation. And then we have domain specific most accurate information. That means these LLMs are trained on general data. They have not been like trained for a specific domain. But we can outcome that, because we can get an LLM model and then we can fine tune that with our own data in our own domain specific. But if you get a raw LLM, it's a problem that these LLMs are not very good at specific domains. And then we have source citations. That means like these LLMs cannot tell what is the citation that they use to give this answer. It's like a human being, right? Like if I ask you, uh, tell me the exact date, exact moment that you learned how to uh, learn this word or learn this something, you can't tell something like that, because it is a like a outcome of everything that you have experienced in before, right? So just like that, LLMs also learn from all the data, so it doesn't have the ability to tell this outcome came from this place, because it's just like a human being. So that's another limitation, because sometimes we cannot trust what it says, because we don't know from where he's taking those information. And then again, this is related to this one. Updates take long training time. So that means I told you before, it's not up to date. We have to manually update those LLMs. It's like we cannot directly connect LLM, like we cannot update LLMs real time. We have to update with data, and that takes a lot of time, and also that costs a lot of money. So for example, I tell you, the GPT-3 model, OpenAI released in 2022. So to just to train that model, the cost was to train cost was like, I think it was like $4.5 million or something, and that's one of the reasons why in countries like Sri Lanka we can never make those foundational models, because they are too costly to uh, train those data. So it's another limitation of LLMs as well. And um, then we have presenting false information when it doesn't have the answer. So actually, this is also somewhat like hallucination. So they are giving false information. I can show you an example for this. Like there was an interesting thing that if you ask an AI, like an image generation model, to draw a watch, like a clock or a watch in a certain time, it doesn't matter whatever the time you tell it to draw, it draws a clock. It always shows the time 10 past 10. So I'll show you that. Uh, so if you go to image model like this, and I'll just tell this to draw a watch. Uh, that shows, you guys can see, right? Okay. That shows time 12:30. Let's try this. And I'm giving this to this model, and I'm telling ChatGPT also to do the same thing. So we'll have a look at the result what it gives. Okay, you can see here. So we asked the time 12:30, but it gave something 10 past 10, right? So it doesn't matter whatever the time you ask, it always show 10 past 10. Like we think these AI models are very smart, but actually those are not smart as much as we think. It just produce information from what it knows. So the reason for this is I'll explain. Like if you go to the Google uh, and search for watches, the images you can see here, all the images you can see these all these watches shows the time 10 past 10. Everything like show like whatever you see 10 past 10, right? So uh, there is no scientific reason why this should be 10 past 10. The reason why all these images have 10 past 10 is like shop owner, like watch shop owners set the time 10 past 10 when they're displaying because it looks good. That's the reason why all the photos have 10 past 10. And the AI models, the LLMs and all these AI models are trained on these data. So those LLMs things, or AI models thinks that if someone is asking for a image of a watch that shows this time, it always thinks it should be showing 10 past 10 because that's what it knows. Because almost all the images on the internet of watches shows the time 10 past 10. So actually this can be like fixed. This issue can be fixed. There is a method called supervised reinforcement learning. So by using those kind of methods, we can solve this issue. And actually, ChatGPT's new model was able to fix this issue. So ChatGPT's first image generation model was DALI, and for 3 years they couldn't solve it. But after three years, with their new image generation model, 4O model, they were able to solve it. Let's have a look at the uh, generated. Oh, okay. They were able to solve it, but it's still. Uh, I told to show the time 12:30. Sometimes this works. GPT-4o model has fixed the issue, but yeah, again, it's not working here. You see, we ask for the time this, but it always give this time. But sometimes this works in GPT-4o model because they claim they fix the issue. And I once I tried it, it gave the correct image, but somehow it's not working again. So it's a problem. Like we think these AI models are smart, but it's not smart as much as we think. It's a little example for that. So um, yeah, another thing I want to tell you that the technology that is happening under the hood of these LLMs, like what it does is there is a method called uh, back propagation. And let's say, for example, if this LLM come up with a sentence like let's say cat sat on a, like LLM generates this text, and it is the way how it predicts what the next word should be is they do that based on probability. So there's a method called back propagation. Using that, they calculate the probability of what the next word should be. So like considering the context that we have provided. So it like if we were talked about a bench or something, it will like make a list of words and will calculate this has the highest probability to be in here, and it will generate those characters. That's how LLMs work. So that means LLMs work in a probabilistic way, not in a realistic way. So that's another limitation, because that's the reason why we cannot do mathematics with LLMs. Like LLMs are really bad at doing maths. So like you guys can give some complex, not even has to be complex. Even sometimes when you give like very basic level math questions, LLMs cannot do those things correctly. The reason why is LLMs doesn't work in a realistic way, it works in a probabilistic way. So we can't, like, when we are solving equations, we can't solve equations in a probabilistic way, right? Like we have to do that in a realistic way. We cannot like guess what would happen. We have to do calculate what would come correctly. So that's another fallback of LLMs, that those things cannot do maths. Yeah, and here I have this is a structure for RAG architecture actually. So what is a RAG? What is a RAG? RAG means retrieval augmented generation, and that's what RAG stands for. So this is actually like a very simple architecture of how a RAG system works. I know this kind of looks complex, but uh, I will practically implement this same thing in the end of the session. So just for now, just understand how this works. Actually, just think about this like you are using ChatGPT, you upload a PDF to ChatGPT, and you ask questions from ChatGPT from the knowledge of that PDF. So think this is that scenario. So you can see here user is here. This is private custom data. Imagine this is your PDF, and this is the LLM. This is ChatGPT. Okay. So first thing is I'll just explain how this architecture works, because in the end I will practically show how this works. So for now, just get an idea how like these systems work. So first we upload the um, PDF. So and it will send to an embedding model. So embedding model will send that to vector database. The reason why we send this to embedding model is what embedding model will read all this data, and it will create vector embeddings, and its job is to save that in a vector database. So vector database is also a kind of a database that saves data in like it assigns value in a multi-dimension way, and it saves data in such a way. So for examples, you have like Pinecone or Fice, there are popular vector database like those. So that's what happens when you upload a PDF, and then now you ask a question uh, from the ChatGPT. Okay, let's say, and you ask question, so it will, the prompt means the input that you send, or query or prompt, whatever, and it will also go through embedding model. It will also create vector embeddings, and it goes to the vector database. And actually, I'll tell you why this. Why don't we send this whole PDF directly to this? Why do we make embeddings and send this? The reason why is, imagine like you ask a question from this now from ChatGPT regarding your PDF. So if the ChatGPT has to read the whole document, maybe let's say for example, you uploaded a PDF that's a physics textbook, let's say. So there are multiple topics like thermodynamics, let's say electricity, and some other mechanics and kind of things, and you are asking a question from electricity. So uh, if we didn't implement this system, this LLM model has to read whole document to answer whatever your question is. But you only need to get answers from the electricity part, right? So this, what this model does is it will make a text chunks. Like let's say you have 1,000 words here or 1,000 characters. So what these models does is this separate those texts into like chunks. Like let's say if you have 10,000 characters, you divide that into 5 chunks of 200 characters and saves in here. You will understand this when I practically show how it happens. Now it's okay just to get the idea. So when you ask a question, it will determine what you need to know, and it will do a similarity search. Out of those chunks, it will determine what chunks I need to be considering to answer this question, and it will only consider that one or two or whatever that amount of chunks is. The reason why we do this is otherwise it has to read the whole thing. Reading the whole thing means there are a few disadvantages. First thing, it takes a lot of time to process. And secondly, this whole, like, if every request from AI models require computational power. So that means there is a cost to run this model. So you don't actually need to read all these things and spend that much of cost just to get a answer related to one topic only. So that's why we use these embedding models and perform a similarity search to reduce the cost and to make it efficient. Otherwise, we can, if you ask this directly, that's not going to be very efficient. And then, yeah, again, after performing the similarity search, we will retrieve the context, only the necessary context, and it will be sent to the LLM model or ChatGPT whatever model or something, and it will provide you the answer. So this is the workflow. This is the actually the flow, how those things work. This is actually very simple architecture. Uh, yes, I will. In the end, I'll practically show this. So how this happens, then you'll get a proper idea. And then we have, yeah, you guys know these things, right? We When it comes to multimodal capabilities, that means these AI models does have the ability to generate text, like input text, process text, and output text. Also the same, like images also, you can do the same. And audio also, you have the ability to send and receive both as outputs. So for examples, I just say there are for text generation, there are GPT-3, 3.5. You have DeepSeek. There are like a lot of models. And then for image generation also, we had DALI, and now we have GPT-4o model. I'll just show you how impressive these models has become. Let's say 4. I'll just show you, like, can you believe, like, this image is generated through ChatGPT image model, right? Like, look at the details, like everything looks realistic, just like a taken photo, like even the reflection, everything, right? I just want to show you this because how good these models has become. I'll show you the prompt also used to generate this one. Yeah, you can see here, this is the prompt that I think you guys can see. Yeah, this is the prompt it has given. It says whiteboard, the Bay Bridge in San Francisco, and the OpenAI logo in the t-shirt. Everything is mentioned in the prompt, and they have given this beautiful image. So I just wanted to show this because I think some of you guys are still not aware how good these models has become. So not only for image generation, AI models can do almost anything that a human being can do. So actually, there is we should have a fear if we'd be able to have a job in the future, because I cannot imagine a world like there will be people doing jobs, because AI can do everything and anything better than us. So I don't think that there will be culture exist like people doing jobs. It will change into a different format. Uh, I just want to show you that because not a lot of people are very aware like what is happening to the world right now. But like AI development is happening, like developing exponentially, and we are very quickly going to a world that it will look like a sci-fi movie. Like sooner than you expect, that will happen like within 5 to 10 years. So I just wanted to warn you to be ready. Yeah, and these are like the users of these models. Uh, Now let's talk about prompt engineering. So yeah, there are these methods that are not very necessary. For what is I told you what prompt is, the input that you give to the AI model, right? So if you want to get a better output from an AI model, it's better to give a better input. Like the higher the quality your input is, the higher the quality the output you get. So in prompting, there are things that you should contain, include in the prompt, and there's a structure as well, order as well. So you can see here, first you should give the clear instruction what you want. And then second, you should provide context. That means you should tell like the background information regarding your use case or your requirement. And then you should mention the desired output format, like how do you want this in section wise, or let's say whatever the format you want. And then you should mention the limits, like you don't have to go beyond that to process these things. And then finally, you have to tell the iterate and refining those things. So this is actually how you should give a prompt to AI model. But actually, this is like people are very lazy to structure an input in this way because it takes a lot of time. So there are actually prompt optimizers you can use. I can show you an example. We go to the web store. Actually, this one was made by me, Super GPT. So you can add this if you want. I made this extension. So basically, what you have to do is you can input. You can like I think you can see this. You can type whatever your lazy prompt, and you just have to click optimize. It will provide you a optimized prompt with those like structures, with the context and everything. So actually, currently this is not working because the backend went down, but I'll try to fix this whenever I got a time. So just wanted to show you there are tools like this that will make your life easier. Don't have to type everything in a prompt. And then let's go to the vibe coding. So I think this is also, you guys sure have heard of vibe coding, right? So vibe coding is that we used to code with no any help at all. Like 5 years ago, there were no generative AI models. So whenever we got an error, there are either we have to go to Stack Overflow and find errors, or we have to watch like 10 YouTube videos to solve that error. So sometimes you don't even find solutions. So we are in the same place for days sometimes. But now you don't have to worry anything. Whenever you get a bug or something, you just have to you ask ChatGPT why this is happening and fix it, right? So actually now there are a lot of tools you can use. Cursor is a ID. It's like a VS Code wrapper embedded with AI. And then you have GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, Cloud, and these things. So you guys, I think you guys already know using these things. And I want to encourage you guys to use these things as well, because uh, we can do a lot of work in less time now, and it's really an important skill to go to the industry as well, because it doesn't matter how you write the code, right? So what matters is if you deliver the work or not. So if you go to a company, let's say if you write the codes by yourself and you tell these codes are authentic, I made it by myself, but someone use AI tools and does like 10 times work. So surely you wouldn't have a chance against a person like that. So you should be uh, using these tools as much as possible. But when you're learning the fundamentals, don't give ChatGPT to do that. But when you're learning, just try to do it from the scratch. But uh, anything outside that, try to use AI as much as possible, because in Microsoft, I think Microsoft CEO said 30% of the code that currently Microsoft has is being generated with AI already. And within 1 year, that will be 100%. So nobody's writing codes actually right now. Nobody does that because it's like 5 years ago, if you develop a website, you just, develop that with frameworks, with JavaScript and everything. Nobody wrote code in assembly, right? But like 30 years ago, people wrote codes in assembly, but we didn't do that in 2020 or 2015. But just like that, within 2, 3 years, people would not be writing codes as well. You just tell AI what you need and it will build it for you. So, okay, there are some few other examples products that I want to tell. Like there are, I don't know if you guys have heard. There's a tool called Replit.com, and there are tools like V0. There are Lovable. There are tools like that. So what basically you have to do is you can just go to that. You can tell this is what I want. This is the website you want. It will make the website. It will make the front end. It will make the back end. It will even make the database, and it will make all those connections as well. So you don't really have to do anything at all. No front end, back end, nothing. You don't have to do anything. AI will do everything. But currently there are limitations and errors are happening. But within 2 3 years, all those things will be fixed. I think. Uh, yeah. The vibe coding, the reasons why you should use this vibe coding, because again the amount of work that you have to do becomes uh, lower, reduce cognitive overhead. You don't have a lot of stress because AI handles everything, and you can deliver a lot of work in no time. So these are the uh, reasons why you should use these tools, but also you should use that in a like a healthy way, because MIT published a paper like 1 month ago about how our brain, like what is the impact to the brain of excessive usage of AI tools. So they have found out that if you have a task, you just give the task to ChatGPT and you just get the result. You don't even look at it. Like if you are working with the AI tools like that, it's like a no-brainer work, right? So so they have found out that that will make a huge cognitive depth. That means that will take your real intelligence to a very down point. So that is really bad. Healthy way, that means like you need to understand your problem properly. You have to make a structure. You have to think what aspects you need to be studied, and then you make a proper prompt. You send it to AI, and then you work with that. That's a good way to use AI. But if you're just not thinking anything, just give AI model do this for me. That's not a very healthy way to use AI. Yeah. Okay. I want to talk before going to that practical implementation. Uh, I want to talk a little bit about the like future opportunities with AI. So let's skip this. Now when you guys thinking AI, like you guys always think about like tech, right? Like writing codes, right? Making websites, backend functions. Those what comes to our mind when we think about the AI usages of AI. But actually, there are very interesting things to do with AI. So I'll just tell you. Like I was listening to a speech of Elon Musk in Y Combinator startup school, and I'm just telling you this to increase your curiosity in these fields. They were talking about like our next goal is to elevate the humankind into a type 2 civilization. That means like uh, this is how innovative people think. Okay, like not a normal way of thinking, but what they think is like uh, we want to make humankind a multiplanetary system. We should not only live on Earth. We should go to other planets and possibly other solar systems as well. But the let's say, but one of the main constraint that we have is our human lifespan. So we only live 80 years, 100 years. But let's say if we want to go to the nearest star, which is Proxima Centauri, I think was 4.2 light years away, or something like that. Even if you went with the speed of 1% of light speed, it will take 400 years to get to there. So you see, that's a big problem we have, that we only live 80 years, 100 years. So what now these innovative people do is they analyze this DNA that we have, analyze the DNA and identify what property is responsible to determine our lifespan. They use like AI algorithms to analyze these things, and they will use generative AI to generate structures of DNA that will make us live 200 years, 300 years. So those things are currently happening. like I'm just telling you this, like AI is not about writing code. There are many very interesting things that people are currently doing, and I just show like these things are not like science fiction things. Currently, these things are happening, and I'll just show you the paper. Uh, in my research. So currently, these things are in implementation. So you can see this. So you can see this. This is these mice are doing. So what we have done is this rat, this mice is we have edited their genes, DNAs, and yeah, like I don't know how they did that with by injection, or I don't know how they did that. They have somehow they have identified those DNA structures and implemented those in this rat. So this rat is like, let's say, if these rats live 5 years, this rat will have the ability to live like 15 years, and these things are currently proven to animals, but those things haven't come to humans yet. But researchers says these things will uh, uh, come to reality within like 5 years. So actually, researchers says that if you have the ability to live 5 years, 10 years, then you will have the ability to live 200 years, because these things will be available to humans as well. We will be able to live up to like 200 years to 300 years, hopefully. And like actually, it's not even uh, like a concept anymore. It's like it's working in real life, and there's a huge role AI plays in those work as well, because of everything to analyze to generate, everything is done by AI algorithms. So there are a lot of opportunities like that. Like imagine you are working for a company, the company's vision is to extend lifespan, human lifespan by 200 years, right? So that's very cool way to think. So think about like when you are learning these things, find something you are passionate about, like curious. Like if you find that is like it said, you are just making website and writing codes, that becomes a boring thing and you don't like to do it. That becomes a stress. But if you find something cool like this, if you like, you can learn to actually apply those in real life and solve a problem. So that's a good way to look at these things. So just want to tell you guys that to increase the curiosity uh, to this AI field, because there are a lot of opportunities. There will be a job loss for sure. There we won't be needing coders as much as we needed before. Currently, already I saw Meta said they have stopped hiring junior engineers, junior developers, because they don't need, no, not junior, mid-level developers, because they don't need them anymore. AI to have the abilities, they are only having the senior developers and tech leads at the moment. So in 3 4 years, we might not even need those developers as well. You just need a product manager who tells AI what to do, and AI will build it for you. So you have to adapt with this technological advancement. So doing the same things that we used to do 5 years ago will not work for the future. And it's a actually, I just that's a little warning as well. You have to understand the current situation. It's the world will not be the same, so it will change a lot in the next 5 years. So I'm just giving you a warning. Try to adapt as much as possible, because that will come to reality a lot sooner than we think. Okay, okay, that's I have to tell. Uh, we'll, I'll show you the practical implementation of this reg. Actually, this I recreated this whole thing with a simple reg, and I will go through the flow how it works. And this program I made is I made a public repository, so uh, you can use it to. So I'll share this in the chat. Yeah, I shared that with you. So you can try this by yourself. There's a README tells how to set it up and how it works. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll go through like real quick. I'll go through the process of this with showing the code what it does. Like it doesn't look complex as much as this when you look at the code. Actually, can you see the code? So I think you guys can see this. So first, what we did is we imported the PDF, right? So in our code, there's a function. Actually, these functions are written here. We have a function to read the PDF and to create chunks, text chunks. So in main, so first what we do is we import the PDF. Actually, the PDF that I used was the exact same PDF I've been showing you today. So I just imported this PDF. This is in the wait, this is yeah. You can see here this is in the main directory. So I'm using that. So first step, it will read the read it, read the PDF, uh, and then it will create the text embeddings. So this is like a very small piece of code, right? This is this process. It creates the embeddings, and then it creates the files index. Files means the vector database that we use. So like this is making the vector data storing vector database code. And here I have added a feature to see the text chunks just to show you. And then the embedding of user query, that means like this part, you can see like it is not complex in the code. These are like few lines of code which does these things. And then you have the search files index. This perform the similarity search, so this part. And then you have the context, receiving the context, and then answering the question. So receiving the context and answering the question. So this is the code. Actually, I have provided these things, everything in the GitHub repository. I will run this now and show you. But before that, I want to tell you, if you want to run this, you need a API key. So like without this OpenAI API key, you cannot run this program. And if you want to get the OpenAI key, you have to pay like $5 and have to get that. And just in case if you want to try this and don't want to pay, you can use open source models. There are in huggingface.com. Like if you go to this website, Huggingface, so you can go to this Hugging Face website and find there are a lot of free and open source models. You can use those models instead of using OpenAI. But then you have to do a little changes of the code as well. You can, you can give this to ChatGPT and tell I don't have an OpenAI API key. I want to use a free open source one, and it will tell the changes what needs to be done, and you'll have the ability to run these. So for now, I'll show you running this. So you can see here, it has created 7 chunks out of our PDF that we were discussing. And I'll say yes to show you the text chunks. So you can see here, this is all the content that was in the PDF, and it's not as a one set. We have created multiple chunks to optimize the process of retrieving the data. So you can see here, I set a limit like 200 characters for one chunk, and we got 7 chunks. So now you can ask anything about our PDF. So I'll basically ask what are the 3 types you can send types of AI. Yeah, you can see here diagnostic generative decision. It will read these things and give us the answer. Yeah, you can ask anything, like anything from the PDF. It will provide you answers instantly. So that is the real implementation of this simple RAG system. Yeah, that's basically what I have to tell you guys today. So yeah, I can wrap up my part, and you guys can do the quiz. So just a reminder, there will be a $5 worth of OpenAI credits. The winner will get it. So if you get that, you can just run this application by yourself, by like today as well. You can, because you'll get the OpenAI API keys. So I hope you guys good luck with that, and thank you for being here, and also thank you again for the organizing committee to inviting me. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Disuri, you can take over now.
Thank you so much, Athsara, for that powerful and eye-opening session. Before we move on to the quiz, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box so that we can answer your questions. All right, now it's the quiz time. Let's see who is paying attention and who's walking away with $5 worth of OpenAI credits. Before you begin, join the quiz using the exact same name as your Zoom name. This is very important. We'll use that to identify the winner. If the top scorer has an unclear or nickname style name that we can't match to a real participant, we'll move to the next eligible person, so please make sure your name is correct. You can access the quiz using the link given in the chat box. We will be starting the quiz in a time of 4 minutes, so please make sure you click on the link and join the quiz. A quick reminder again, before joining join the quiz using the exact same name as your Zoom name. This is really important for us because that's the only way we can track your name and to identify the winner. All right, guys, so let's start the quiz now. In 3, 2, 1. Alright, guys, the time is up and we have our results. A big congratulations to Praveen Veeratunga. You have won $5 worth OpenAI AI credits. We'll reach out to you shortly with your prize details. Before we wrap up, just a few quick notes. Our next InfiniteLoop 3.0 session is happening physically at UCSC on the 14th of July. We'd love to see you there. Those who attend all sessions will receive an official e-certificate, so keep showing up and keep learning. Also, don't forget to join our official WhatsApp group. We'll drop the link in the chat. That's where all the updates, session links, and reminders will be shared. Now, let's take a quick group photo. Please turn on your camera even for a few seconds so we can capture this moment with all of your lovely faces. If you like, you can use the background we have sent in the chat as well. Please turn on your cameras for a few seconds so that we can capture all of your faces together. All right, guys. I'm capturing the picture in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you all. You all look amazing. And that brings us to the end of the tonight's session. A big thank you once again to Athsara for that brilliant session and to all of you for your energy and participation. See you on the July 14th for the next session. Until then, stay curious, stay driven, and keep glowing. Good night.